everybody. I'm Andy Bozarth, Community Outreach and Advocacy Director here at AARP Kansas. Welcome to the Coffee Chat. Today we have a great program for you. We are joined by Kansas State Treasurer Lynn Rogers. Hi, Lynn.
Hi there. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Doing great. Beautiful day outside.
It is absolutely gorgeous outside. You cannot complain about this kind of weather in spring in Kansas.
No, it's very enjoyable. So.
Yes, I hope you get a chance to get outside and enjoy the weather today. So
Good.
Now, as most of you know, Treasurer Rogers went from being Lieutenant Governor to being this Kansas State Treasurer. And I just am curious, Lynn, how has that transition been going?
It's been great. We have a great staff here in the Treasurer's office. We do a lot of things for Kansans, and it's been good to get in touch with that. My banking background fits very well. It's really given me a lot of ability to get some things done to improve the lives of Kansans. We've worked very closely with the legislature. It's been a very busy 2 months so far. We're gearing up for our 100th day, and we haven't had much time to breathe. We've had something going almost every day to get things rolling. But I love that. That's being more active and more busy every day is a great part of the job. So.
That's great, and it's a really good fit with your background. So congratulations.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it. There's some things I miss about being Lieutenant Governor, but I get that public input, the public interaction with this job too. And for me, it's serving Kansans. No matter where I'm at, I want to make sure that we can improve the lives of Kansans. So.
Thank you. We appreciate your service.
Thank you.
And today we are here to talk about the 529 plans, or what's called Learning Quest. Can you give me a little information about why it's important to save for college?
There's three major events in people's lives that they really have to save for. It's really difficult to pay lump sum. Saving for a house, saving for retirement, and then saving for higher education, both either for yourself or for your children. And with the rising costs of higher education, these kinds of Learning Quest accounts let people put some money aside, various family members to contribute, and so that by the time your kids reach the age of going to college, it's not going to bankrupt you, and that they can actually have options. They can actually go somewhere and get an education to improve their lives.
Yeah, that's great. Do you have any examples of people who had a problem with saving for college?
Well, I was on a call earlier this morning with some teachers, and one of them shared the story of their kids. They'd had 529 accounts and put both of them through school, K-State, and ended up getting out of college with no debt because the family had been able to put some money aside. So in many cases, the kids reach high school graduation and there's nothing available for them. And even with some scholarships and things of that nature, it would make it impossible for them to get that higher education. And we know that a high school graduation degree, a diploma, makes a big difference on long-term earnings, but a college degree even improves it more so. And so for a state, for us to encourage higher education, one, it helps the income and the economy as people are educated, and then secondly, hopefully we're going to keep those individuals here in the state to contribute long term, through their job, through their community involvement, things of that nature.
That's great. Can you tell me a little bit about what exactly a 529 or Learning Quest plan is?
Sure. The 529 number comes from the tax code number, and so that's kind of why they get referred. Most states offer them through the Treasurer's office like this. Our Learning Quest, we actually partner with American Century out of Kansas City as the investment company. You can go in to our website and or their website, Learning Quest, and open an account, and then you can contribute lump sum if you want to, or a smaller amount as you go along. One of the things that's, I think, important to note is that an individual can put $3,000 in somebody's account, $6,000 for a couple, and those monies then are not taxed for the earnings, and that can grow tax-free during the life of the Learning Quest. And then when the child turns 18, they can use it for a variety of programs for higher education.
And what does that money pay for? What can you use it for?
Well, there's been a great expansion in the last few years, or in the last year, actually. It's much more than just a 4-year education. They can use it for community college. They can use it for a technical school. They can use it for an apprenticeship that's through, a labor union. Anything that receives federal financial aid will qualify. So a cosmetology school, if they receive financial aid, federal financial aid, they would qualify. And you can also use it for living expenses off campus. You can use it for your computer needs, some of those kinds of things. You can even now use it for K-12 tuition if you so choose. So, and then one of the other things a lot of people are doing, even people that have graduated with their undergraduate, they're putting money aside themselves for their graduate degree in 4 or 5 years. So, and then people can also use it to pay off student debt. So there's a wide range of services. And again, what's great about it is you stick that money away. It makes it difficult to access, just for day-to-day expenses. And then you can use it when you need it.
Wow, that's great. You actually answered one of the questions from the audience about can 529 plan be used by those who already have a bachelor degree?
Yes, yeah. We're actually seeing a great growth in that. Individuals can put that money aside. Parents can, grandparents can contribute. Anyone else that needs to or wants to contribute to that kind of a thing can do that.
That's great. I mean, it's a really wonderful opportunity for people to save for college, which gets very expensive. And
it is, yeah. And we have in our Learning Quest program, we have over 270,000 accounts. That's a sizable chunk, and that's in cooperation again with American Century, and almost $9 billion in assets. So it's a sizable chunk that can be put aside for higher education. So. Colleges are used to working with 529s, and families are starting to get there. And we're wanting to expand that. I mean, we want to start talking to parents of kindergartners so that they can start putting it away. It's never too early to start saving for higher education.
And can I contribute for my grandchildren?
Yes, you can put money in for them, same limitations of the 3,000. And one of the unique things that we have with what Learning Quest has done and the American Century is there's a crowdfunding source. So what you do is it's called UGIFT, UGIFT. You can register for a code, and then you can put that code, in a Facebook post or an email. Parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles can contribute. If an aunt and uncle, somebody thinks they've got too many plastic toys, they can contribute $25 to this for somebody's birthday, and it'll go straight into the Learning Quest. So that crowdsourcing is a great way to let your family know that, you'd like them to move money there as opposed to, something that's going to disappear in a short period of time. You might want to do both. Who knows?
Yeah, it's wonderful that there are so many options and ways to fund the account.
Yeah.
You said there's a $3,000 limit. So does that mean I can put in $3,000 annually, or is it $3,000 total?
You can an individual can put $3,000 per year, and that's per beneficiary. So if you have 5 grandkids, you can put it in each of those 5, and that's a great way to do it.
That's great. We have a question from the audience, and that is, what is the process to enroll or initiate a plan, and what is the process to withdraw from an existing plan?
You would go to our Learning Quest site, and you can access that through our state treasurer site that's down below the kansascash.ks.gov. and that can give you the access, or you can go to plug in Kansas Learning Quest into the website, and that'll take you there. It'll give you instructions on enrolling, and then also if you're ready to make a withdrawal. You can use it for approved tuition fees, those kinds of things. We also, the American Century folks have a team that's just dedicated to the Kansas Learning Quest program, and those customer service people can walk you through it if you have a question or a concern, or if there's something that the website doesn't answer. So there's a phone number attached to that, and they can help you with that as well.
Good support for being able to do this.
Yeah, the American Century team has been great. They've been a super partner, and they work with us to promote the program, throughout the state, even throughout the country. We have folks that are involved in it that are in other states as well, and we're okay with that. The money doesn't have to only be used at a Kansas school. It can be used anywhere. We would prefer, of course, that they stay in Kansas, and we want them to come home afterwards. But if they do go to school outside of Kansas, the Learning Quest money can be used for that as well.
That's great. That really is good, that the money travels with the person as opposed to only being in Kansas.
Right, and that's probably one of the misadventures. In early days, I think people felt like it was only to one school or to one area, and it really has expanded.
That's great. Yeah. If someone contributes to the Learning Quest plan for, say, their child or their grandchild, or even for themselves if they want to get a higher degree, is there a tax benefit to that?
Well, the earnings are not taxed, and then in Kansas, your $3,000 contribution could be deducted from your income tax. So you would get a savings on that, not on the federal side, but on the state side. When the earnings, or when the withdrawals come through, if the expenses are spent on a qualified expense, tuition, then again, there's no tax impact on that as well. If for some reason the child gets to age and they don't want to go to college and they don't want to use it for anything else, the owner of that account, the parent or whoever set it up, can actually name someone else as the beneficiary, perhaps themselves to go to graduate school, or another child or a niece or nephew of some that. And then if none of those work, they can withdraw the money, but then there would be some tax consequences for that.
Okay, that's really interesting. The process of setting it up, could you go through that a little bit more in detail? Is it hard?
No, you can do it all online.
Okay.
It would be like opening a bank account, online, or an investment account. So, there would be some information and some things that you'd have to sign online, but it can all be done pretty quickly. I'm getting ready to set those up for my grandchildren. So I've gone in once, and I think you can go in and check the account of what's required so that you have it all ready, and then you can upload that information that they require and go ahead and start making the deposits. Again, it can be a lump sum of $3,000 if you want to start it that way, or $6,000 for a couple, or if you want to put so much a month, they can set up an ACH direct deposit from your checking account directly into the account each month.
You're really making it easy for people to save for college.
We hope so. We know that that's a major expense, and we want to do everything we can to make it easier for them. So
that's great. And thank you to those who are joining us. I'm Andy Bozarth, Director of Community Outreach and Advocacy here at AARP Kansas. And we are lucky to have State Treasurer Lynn Rogers joining us today to talk about 529 plans and how to save for college. So if you have any questions, please put those questions into the chat box, and I'm sure that Treasurer Rogers will be happy to answer those. You were talking about what you can do, you can name a new beneficiary if your grandchild or child doesn't go to college. Can you roll it over into a different kind of account?
You can roll it over, into somebody else's account. I believe you can into an IRA. I'd have to check that for sure. So I'll have to get back to you on that one. So one other thing that we offer on these accounts too, this isn't just for those with lots of money. The state of Kansas has made a program called KIDS, KIDS, and it's a 529 count as well. And basically, if you're a family of 4 with an income of under 52,400, which is 200% of poverty, if you contribute as little as $100, the state of Kansas will match that $100 up to a total of $600 a year. Now, that's only available to 1,200 families currently, but we only have about 750 of those accounts. But folks that don't have a lot of income but still want to save can have a 50% return or 100% return, I guess, immediately. So if they wanted to start an account for $10 a month, and as long as they have $100 by the end of the year, and their finances show that they're under the poverty limit for the number of family members in their family, we'll match that, and the state of Kansas will match it, and it'll grow again over time. So that's another excellent program that we want people to know about as well. So it's an opportunity for those with not a lot of resources but still want to save for their kids' higher education. They can put $600 away and have it matched immediately.
Yeah, 100% returns. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And it leads me right into one of the questions from the audience. And that is this account an interest accruing account?
Yes, it is. When you set up your account, you can choose how you want the funds to be invested. So it's like there's several different money market or investment options, everything from a very conservative position to maybe something that's maybe a little bit more aggressive. Again, you get to choose that and direct how those monies are invested. And then that's American Century's job to make sure that it gets invested the way you want. And then those earnings are put back into the account. And again, those are not taxed. Those earnings aren't taxed during the life of the transaction or life of the program. And then when they are withdrawn, if they're used for approved items, then they're not a tax impact either.
That's great. I mean, to have a situation where you aren't taxed when you invest the money and then you're not taxed when you take it out is a really nice arrangement.
Yeah, when I opened college accounts for my kids, I just opened a savings account at my credit union and paid tax on those earnings, each and every year. This it wouldn't have made a huge difference. I didn't put that as much in as I wanted, but it would make somewhat of an impact for people as well.
Oh yeah, it really does make a difference. Yeah. We have several more questions from the audience. Well, I think you've kind of addressed this a little bit, but what happens to the money if the person you're saving for doesn't go to college?
Again, you could name another beneficiary. So if you had another child, niece or nephew, or even yourself that you wanted to go to graduate school or to get your undergrad, whatever you wanted to do. It could also be used to pay off college education for somebody that you name. If you take it out in cash, then the earnings would be taxable, but the contributions wouldn't be, because those most cases are on the federal side are after tax dollars for you in that regard.
Okay. We have one more question, and that is, could this money be used for technical school?
Yes, that's been one of the things that it was expanded to in December with some of the CARES and COVID legislation that passed Congress. Can be used for a technical school, can be used for a community college, it can be used for cosmetology or some school. A number of labor unions have apprenticeship programs where that you pay to be trained. I know the plumbers and pipe fitters in Wichita, that can be used for that purpose. Those tuitions can be used for that, as well as again, living expenses, either the on-campus expenses or even off-campus. The only limitation on off-campus is that you can't pay more than what it costs to live on campus. So, but again, it lets you use it for more than just tuition and fees.
Can you use it to pay for your books? Because I know those can be expensive.
Those can add up. Yeah, books and possibly even if you need a laptop or lab equipment for education.
Just as long as it's used for educational purposes.
Right, exactly. And the website has information of what is an acceptable expense, so you can kind of check it from there. And then again, if you've got any questions, I'm sure our Learning Quest team can help you with some of that. But it's a pretty broad definition, and it works out well.
That's great. And what is it that you love most about helping Kansans with their 529 plans?
Well, it's exciting to, see kids' dreams be achieved, that they can go to school for something that they have long thought they wanted to do, and the 529 can help make that a reality. And, I think it's one of those things where the kids understand that it's a partnership between their parents and grandparents and individuals from that standpoint. So those are things that can really be long-term success stories that I'd love to hear about.
That's great. So if you have any stories, please get a hold of Treasurer Rogers and let him know your success stories.
Yeah.
This brings us pretty much to the end of our time today. Do you have any last minute words of advice?
Well, I think sometimes the biggest difficulty of saving is making that first contribution, because you think, oh, I just can't afford it or whatnot. But even making it $25 a month, and then slowly growing that and building that up, it can make a big difference. Because when you get to, at 25, and then at the end of the year, you see, oh, I've got $500. How exciting. I've never had that much before, or whatever. You set yourself, short range and long range goals to make yourself successful.
That's great advice. And thank you for joining us today. I appreciate you taking time. And you will be back with us next week when we'll be talking about Scholarshop, the ABLE program, and we will be discussing a work and save program that's kind of a new and innovative way that the state treasurer's office can help people save for retirement. So I hope you all can join us again next week. And Treasurer Rogers, we'll see you then.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.